All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the digital nightmare that is the state of Massachusetts. If my demeanor appears melancholic or dour, it's because somebody very important to me passed away last year, and it's been kind of weighing heavily on my mind tonight. So forgive me for that. I hope everyone is well out there and taking care of yourselves and staying strong in this digital nightmare that we exist in. But moving on, today we are going to be working on automating the Have I Been Pwned API. If you don't know what Have I Been Pwned is, it's this really cool website that allows you to see if your current email has been breached in any data leaks. So, for example, if you use apps like Dave or Wattpad or DoorDash or whatever, and those companies had been hacked or compromised and your information is now public in the hands of some hacker somewhere, this website will let you know. And I highly recommend checking it out from time to time. So this email you see here is an old email of mine. It's currently defunct. I no longer use it. It is no longer associated with anything that is crucial to me in my life, like bank accounts, etc., etc. So don't bother fucking with it, but do what you do. So we're going to query this to see if it has been involved in data leaks, and as we can see, it totally has. It has been fucking pwned. And it's been pwned because Dave had a data leak back in June 2020, 3 years ago, and coincidentally, so was Dave. Same year, same month, which is strange. And I wonder if those companies have like a parent company and are associated with each other. But who knows? But in any case, if you were to do this and you saw this, your first course of action would be to immediately change those passwords to strong passwords, I hope. Because somewhere, somebody has your email, your password, whether they're hashed or not. And obviously, that's not good. You know what I mean? Your information is out there somewhere. So change those passwords really quick if you have in fact been pwned. So this website also has an API. And I recommend using their terms of service before doing anything with this. But they have a plan. In order to use the API, you got to subscribe to a plan. And the cheapest one is at $4 a month, approximately, and $40 a year. And that's not bad. $4 a month, that's cool, that's chill. And this plan, the pwned one, has a rate limit allowing 10 email searches per minute. And I think that's sufficient for what we're going to be doing here. I don't think we need to be querying 50 fucking emails, you know what I mean? Unless you're really just trying to do something nefarious with that information, which I don't recommend. Let's look at the TOS real quick and their rate limiting. And as you can see right here under abuse, they're pretty much saying you can find those data leaks, you know what I mean? Don't abuse their service. So don't use it for any malicious intent is what they're pretty much saying. And if you go up here, there's a way to use their API, and it's right here. You can use get, but you can also use curl to use this from the command line, which I find to be more effective and efficient. So let me go ahead and demonstrate this real quick. So what we could do is we could say curl -h for headers, and we would say have I been pwned, and then we would say we need our API key. This is mine. At the time of publishing, this will no longer be relevant, so don't bother trying to use this API key you see here. And so we get that, and we put it in here, and then we go to https://haveibeenpwned.com/API version 3 breached account, followed by the email that we want to query. So I did something wrong, as you can see. Oh, and I know what it was. My bad. This needs to be API key. And now I think That should work. No, still didn't work. Pwned. Oh, that's because I did. God, I'm tripping. I'm sorry. Let's go over here and run this back, son, and API key. Now it works. My bad. So there you go. So it returned Dave and Wattpad the same way it did in the GUI a few moments ago when we queried it. Dave and Wattpad. So there it is. And we can see it here. So that's how you can use their API to query your email address to see if it's been involved in any data breaches. Very cool. Now the thing is, maybe you want to automate this, right? Like instead of having to constantly like do this and then change the email to the command line, like you have to come here, put in new email, John Doe. Like fuck that, right? Like why can't we automate this? And that's what we're gonna do with a Python script. So let's go ahead and just do that. And we're gonna write this script now. So here we go. So the first thing I want to do is import some libraries we're gonna need. We're gonna need import from getPass, import getPass. We're going to need requests. We're going to need sys, and we're going to need time. Okay, and now the first thing we want to do is get their API key. So we'll say equals getPass, and we'll say enter your API key, right? And new line. And getPass, if you don't know, is pretty much like the same thing as using input. The difference here is that getPass is going to hide your input in the command line. So if somebody was like shoulder surfing you and looking over your shoulder to see what you were typing, your input would be masked. It would literally be invisible. But getPass also has these things where you can put like asterisks for your key typing or hashtags or whatever. You can specify any character that hides that person's input. So we're gonna just leave ours at default, which is gonna be blank. There just won't be, you won't be able to see anything. All right, so that's the first thing we do. I guess the next thing we want to do is limit the number of emails they can enter. So we could say number of accounts equals input, but we need to make this an integer because, as you know, input is always saved as a string data type. And we'll say enter number of queries. And do we want a new line for that? Yeah, we'll do a new line for that. Fuck it, why not? And then we'll check to make sure they don't exceed it. So we're using the lowest subscriber plan at $4, which limits us to 10 requests per minute. So that's what we're gonna use here. So if number of accounts, is greater than 10, we'll say exceeded query limit goodbye. And then we'll say sys.exit. And let's go ahead and test this really quick. Put in our API key, number of queries, let's say 20. And it exits. And there's actually something I want to change. We need to let them know this, right? To be fair, so max.10. So they know. All right, so the next thing we need to do is put an accounts equals list. And then for email in accounts in range of number of accounts, we'll do email equals input, enter email, and then we'll say accounts got append email. So we'll append it to that list. Very cool. I think that's right. Yep. And then we'll say for accounts in accounts. What are we doing here? URL equals, we'll do a format string, we'll say HTTPS haveibeenpwned.com/API v3 breached account/account. And then we need our headers, so we'll say headers equal have I been pwned dash API dash key API key. And move this back, kind of fix that up. There we go. And then inside of a try and sets block, we'll say response equals requests.get URL headers equal headers. And then we'll say response.raise for status, there's an error. And then we'll say for, oh, hold on. We need our data. Data equals response JSON. Because the data that it returns to us is in fact in JSON data. Not JSON like Jason Voorhees, but JSON as in JavaScript object notation. So we'll say for names in data, names.get name. I believe it's names. I believe that's the parameter. And then we'll say print format string account was found in the following company data leaks and names. And that should work. And then we also want a time.sleep. And we'll do 20 seconds. Because like, if you have an array or a list of 10 emails and you hammer them at once, you're going to get a status code of 429, I believe, because you're just hammering on the server. You can't make that many requests at once. The server won't allow you to do that, which is why we're going to sleep it. We'll send one email account, it'll sleep for 20 seconds, and then it'll try the next. And I think that's reasonable. So far, so good, I hope. And now we just need our accept block. So we'll say accept, if I can spell, requests.exceptions.http error as HTTP error. And then we'll say if response.status code is equal to 44, printf account was not found in any data leaks. Print response.text. And I think that is legit, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is fine. But there's only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and run this program. Okay, and our API key. I want to check 2 email addresses. I'll put in the first. This is the one I showed you earlier that I no longer use. This is my YouTube email, which you can reach me at if you feel so inclined. And let's see. So we do immediately see that the first one was involved in these leaks. Cool, so far so good. Now let's see if it queries the next one, which is the Massachusetts email. And you can see it slept for 20 seconds, which is why it's taking a little bit of time to give us the next result. Boom, and it worked. Massachusetts at proton.me was not found in any data leaks. I like that. One thing I want to fix is I also want to add this little like plus sign parameter deal, which isn't a huge deal, but just to keep things kind of homogeneous, I want to add that. There we go. And guys, I think that's like pretty much it. We did it. So let's try it again. Just to make sure. 2. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. That's all there was to it, guys. So we automated the Have I Been Pwned API. Really cool, really useful. And in a pen test situation, now you would get those known leaks, and you could find those data leaks if you look hard enough. I'm sure a couple of Google searches will get you that data, and you can proceed from there. For the record, I'm not advocating you do anything malicious with that information. We are doing this strictly for educational purposes. Anyways, that's pretty much this video, you guys. I hope you're staying strong. I hope life is treating you well. And Godspeed. Later.